Hello, Ma'am Eva and friends. Now we want to present about Marxism. Our group members are Bendino Fandri, and then Fajar Bintang, and then Rari, and then Nastiti Andayani, and myself Edith Nazareta, and the last is Gabriela Daisy. Next. Okay, this is our table of contents. First, we want to talk about Marxism, and second about history, and the third about the term, and fourth about prominent figure, and the last is Marxism on analyzing drama.
So the first is, what is Marxism about? Next. So Marxism is an understanding of political and economic theory based on the views of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Marx compiled basic theories related to the economic, social, political system and voiced his protest against capitalism, which was considered to be oppressive toward proletariat in his book entitled Das Kapital. Marxism, including dialectical materialism and historical materialism, and their application to social life. Marx criticized the capitalist system, which, according to him, only exploited the workers or the laborers. So Marx believed that the laborers will have a class consciousness, and this awareness will accumulate and become a revolution. And this thing creates a new social order called communism. And the supporters of this theory called Marxist. Next.
The historical background of Marxism. So the early life of Karl Marx. Karl Heinrich Marx was a German philosopher, economist, historian, sociologist, politician, theorist, journalist, and also socialist revolutionary. He was born in Trier, Prussia on 5th May 1818. Both of his parents were Jewish. His father as a lawyer, and he was the oldest boy from the other 9 brothers and sisters. So Marx studied law and philosophy at university. He married Jenny von Westphalen in 1843. Due to his political publication, Marx became stateless and lived in exile with his wife and children in London for decades, where he continued to develop his thought in collaboration with the German thinker Friedrich Engels, which was mentioned before, and published his writings, researching in the reading room of the British Museum. His best-known titles are the 1848 pamphlet, The Communist Manifesto, and the 3-volume Das Kapital. For him, there is no supreme definition for Marxism. As for him, in simple terms, we can infer it as a method of socio-economic analysis concerning the materialist interpretation named after Karl Marx. There was the period of time where Karl Marx was imprisoned because he was having a fight with another student, or while he was drunk at the first year at the University of Bonn. Marx's parents were very worried and concerned about Marx and enrolled him at the University of Berlin, where he decided to study law and philosophy. As you can see in the bottom left, there is the list of the university where Karl Marx was enrolled. The first one, which is the University of Bonn, then the second one is the University of Berlin, and the third one is University of Jena for his PhD.
Okay, I will continue about Karl Marx history. Karl Marx became a revolutionary. After he received his degree in 1842, Marx became a writer and editor for the Liberal Democratic newspaper, but the following year, Karl Marx moved to Paris in 1943 with his new wife, Jeanne Winston, while his name who will collaborate with him to his life. And then in 1845, Engels and Marx published a criticism of Freud's young Hegelian philosophy. The Prussian government intervened to get Marx expelled from France. He ended to Brussels, Belgium. In 1847, his manifesto from the background that newly founded about the Communist League in London, and then they published in the following years. And Marx and Engels are two philosophers who historically, as a series of case struggles, and predicted that proletarian revolution would sweep the capitalism system for good, also making the working man the new ruling class of the world. Next, please. And then it's about Karl Marx life in London and Das Kapital. Marx left Belgium before expelled by the country's government. He briefly settled in London, where he found life for his life, and despite being denied British citizenship, he worked as a journalist for 10 years for the New York Daily Tribune. At that time, Karl Marx became increasingly isolated from fellow London communists. And focused more on developing his economic theories. In 1864, he published The Theory of Modern Society, and laid out his theory of capitalism as a dynamic system that contains self-destruction and subsequent working on manuscript for additional volumes, but it is unfinished at the time of his death on March 14 in 1883. Next, please.
Okay, next is the term in Marxism. Next. The terms in Marxism consist such as the proletariat, that is workers of or working class people who doesn't have the means of production. Then bourgeoisie, the capitalist class who own most of society's wealth and means of production. And then means of production itself is the physical and non-financial inputs used in the production of goods and services with economic value. Next is surplus value, the surplus produced over and above what is required to survive, which is translated into profit in capitalism. Next is class consciousness, the set of beliefs that a person holds regarding their social class or economic rank in society, the structure of their class and their class interests. Next is counter-revolutionary, a person who advocates or engages in a revolution that opposes a previous one or reverse its results. The last one is revisionism, a policy of revision or modification, especially of Marxism, on evolutionary socialist rather than revolutionary or pluralist principles such as Leon Trotsky and Deng Xiaoping's theory.
Okay, continue to that. Mao Zedong, please. Next slide. Okay, so Mao Zedong Mao Zedong, or better known as Chairman Mao, was a Chinese communist revolutionary and founder of the People's Republic of China. Ideologically a Marxist-Leninist, his theories, military strategies, and political policies are collectively known as Maoism. Maoism is a variety of Marxism-Leninism that Mao Zedong developed for realizing a socialist revolution in the agriculture's pre-industrial society of the ROC, or you could say as the Republic of China or Taiwan, and later the PRC, modern day China. The difference between Maoism and Marxism is that the peasantry are the revolutionary vanguard in pre-industrial societies rather than the proletariat. Next slide. Now, Vladimir Lenin. Vladimir Lenin was a Russian revolutionary and politician. A Marxist, he developed a variant of this communist ideology as Leninism. Leninism is a way of thinking about how the Communist Party should be organized. It says it should be a dictatorship of the proletariat. Now, Leninism was the dominant version of Marxism in Russia and the basis of Soviet democracy, the rule of directly elected Soviets. And before the revolution, he proposed the establishment of the dictatorship of the proletariat led by a revolutionary vanguard party as the political prelude to the establishment of communism. The function of the party is to provide the working classes with the political consciousness and revolutionary leadership to oppose capitalism in the Russian Empire. Next.
How to apply Marxism on analyzing drama. Marxism analysis will examine narrative and characters' way of getting and keeping economic powers, is the motive behind our social and political activities, including education, philosophy, religion, government, art, science, technology, the media, and so on. And this is how the Marxism applied on analyzing drama. The first one, begin with the protagonist. Start the analysis with the protagonist character, what the protagonist's past is based on the wealth. After that, take a look at the character's occupation, because it will be a big hint to know their place in the class system. The second one is there any issue of class system? Who own the means of production? Who are the workers? Who benefit from the production and who suffers? The last is how characters spend their free time. The characters' activity during their free time can provide some clues in determining their social class.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
I
you.
think, yeah, thank you. That's
Thank
it
you very
for
much for
our
listening to
group.
our presentation. Hope you enjoy. If any have question, just put below on the question bar. Thank you.